The last episode of For the Love of Daddies, still have to censor the name, thank you YouTube, but it was actually quite tame compared to the episode that we're going to examine today. While the first episode dealt with some of the more, shall we say, subtle stereotypes surrounding being gay, episode 2 has millions of sex jokes and multiple makeout sessions in the first few minutes. It's here that the affectionate moniker I've given the show, Gay Love Island, really lives up to its reputation, although even the most torqued up heartthrobs from Tottenham usually wait until about episode 4 before getting into the really raunchy sex talks. Not the case here. We'll be dealing with that in the first 10 minutes of this episode, and frankly all throughout, as the show's crass narrator, Dr. Daddy, has intensified his humor so much to the point where I don't feel comfortable putting it in the ad-friendly first 3 minutes of a YouTube video. And today's overall theme will be that of promiscuity and how it ties into the larger societal viewpoint of gay people in general. And don't get me wrong, I'm sure this is going to come up in multiple different episodes in the future because the general tone of the show is that of one that is very horned up. But it's a good focal point for us to view today's episode because frankly, again, the first episode was quite tame in comparison. Sure, having a horde of younger himbos looking at older men they call daddies, it has some shock value, which we saw in episode 1, but by episode 2, you've really kind of bought into the framework of the show, and you have no issues that younger men are trying to find their daddy.
How was my daddy's ass?
It's not about the himbos, it's about my daddy. So the himbos they could do them.
Okay, I take everything I just said back. But okay, let's watch this 22-year-old self-identifying as stupid as he yearns to have an older man take him into his arms, and then take something else and insert it into something else. For the Love of Daddies, episode 2, entitled Math is Hard, Love is Harder. My name is Patrick, but my friends call me Pat, and if you enjoy my videos and enjoy my content, remember to like and subscribe if you're not already. It really helps me out and gets this video out to more people. I am also on social media. Usernames there, links down below in the description if that's your thing. Heart, back by popular demand. To refresh your memory, last week we saw everybody start to get to know each other and people began coupling up. Robert, the man who is literally using this show as a means of coming out to his extended family, I just really want to know how those family watch parties went. He got with Samuel, the Habibi himbo. David and Victor fought over Timmy before David won, and then Victor started to get to know Danny, and then Nicholas and Fox vied for Jay. I don't know why I gave you such a laborious summary, because literally the first 3 scenes are going to be those couples making out in order. I'm not joking, all the questions of who's paired with who are merely answered by simply observing whose tongue is down whose throat. This struck me, as I was watching it, as a bit of an abrupt departure from the first episode, which had a tone that I would best describe as a vaguely sexual but pretty awkward office Christmas party, and it also stuck out to me because it's a shock that kind of continuously builds. Like, you really just don't expect it. Like, you see the first makeout session, and you're like, oh, good for them, good for the gays, and then there's another one. And then there's another one. So by that point, you really just want to start making a tier list in terms of which one of the makeout sessions were the most cinematically compelling. And not that literally a single one of you asked, but goes Fox J, Robert Samuel, and then David Timmy. If I had to watch them, you have to hear me rank them. Of the 3, the scene with Fox and Jay is probably the most interesting because it begins with Nicholas trying to spend some time with Jay before Fox just enters the room and kicks him out.
So you trying to slide in my lane? No, sir.
Actually, he's trying to slide into your himbo.
I wonder if this is what my parents envisioned I'd be doing when they created me. I wonder about the people on the show. I wonder if being on the show is what their parents envisioned they'd be doing. Fuck. I wonder what the parents of the writer who wrote this joke for the narrator envisioned they'd be doing with this beautiful gift we call existence. You missed your USPS delivery. Click here to reschedule. How do you get in my room? Hello and good morning. Is this John? What? Hi dear, are you interested in a job that pays $75 an hour, work from home? No, but I am interested in today's sponsor, Aura. Aura is an app focused not only on stopping annoying spam callers, but on protecting your data. Right now, people called data brokers may be selling your data all across the dark web, exposing you not only to spam callers, but also to identity thieves. Aura will scrub your data from those data brokers, stopping scammers in their tracks. And for identity thieves, Aura can help with that too. Aura comes with built-in identity theft protection, monitoring billions of data points so that your personal information stays safe. And Aura also monitors for financial fraud, alerting you in minutes if your credit file has been compromised and somebody is trying to steal your identity to open a credit card or to take out a loan in your name. It doesn't count though if it's a Friday night and you decide you must own the Lego office set. If you wouldn't let spam callers into your house, why would you let them onto your phone? I resent that. I don't want to. And if you don't want to either, you can go to aura.com/Pat for 2 weeks free. That's aura.com/Pat, P-A-T, for 2 weeks free, or you can scan the QR code on the screen. Thanks again to Aura for sponsoring the video, and now back to your regularly scheduled programming. At any rate, Jay actually appreciated the fact that Fox big dog Nicholas and kicked him out of the room.
Shout out all my dogs at the crib.
I've brought this up before, but there's something so ancient Greek coded about this entire process. Daddies jockeying for position, competing with each other for their himbos. Pay close attention going forward in the show to how daddy driven the process is going to be going forward. Do not laugh at that. Do not laugh at that. We are here to do serious, objective media analysis. And on a completely unrelated note, pay attention to what happens after Fox gives Jay a gift of Mardi Gras beads.
Wait until you insert them anally.
Like I said, we're here to do serious media analysis here. On to Robert and Samuel, who have what I would describe as a genuine and heartfelt dialogue about their families and the importance of family and their own understanding of masculinity. Pretty wholesome conversation, but somewhat undercut by the makeout session and Samuel's subsequent commentary on it.
You know, it was just the right amount of tongue and very nice intimate moment to share.
The comment is funny. It is a little bit out of left field given they were just talking about like, oh my gosh, how important is family to you? That being said, there is a right amount of tongue in a kiss, and I'm happy for both of them that Robert seems to have mastered it. This moment did remind me of a personal anecdote that I have of the worst kiss I have ever received, coincidentally during a game of Spin the Bottle, which I feel like you're either going to have a life-changing experience there, or you are going to be traumatized by one of the worst kisses you've ever experienced. Unfortunately for me, it was the latter. He fully opened his mouth and extended his jaw like a great snake or any number of serpentine reptiles. But in the top lips hit the top lips, so that was good. But his bottom jaw and teeth fully bit into my chin. All the time in the gym that he spent, and he could only kiss another man like he was trying to consume a mongoose in the wilderness. Sad. Anyways, Timmy and David are talking by the pool, and the narrator shames him for being a bottom.
I've never topped before. I'm not opposed to it.
I'm speechless.
Stop assuming that every thin twink with blonde hair is a bottom. I mean, most of them are, but it's really rude to assume that. And you know what they say when you assume? That's right, you make an ass massage into a one-on-one date later in the episode. Wait a minute, that is not what they say. But it is true. We are going to get to that in a few minutes. It goes without saying, but I'll say it anyway. We here at My Friends Call Me Pat, we support our bottoms. Roll the Tom Daly picture again.
I can't change, even if I try.
But in case you were wondering why Timmy and David's kiss ranked at the bottom of the tier list that I didn't even want to make, it's because this is said by Timmy right before they kiss. Take a look.
You should come get a closer look.
Yas.
With peace, love, and basketball, Timothy, I hope that was added by the editors. Because if it was, I would take legal action, and I would bring back the rotting corpse of Johnny Cochran to do so. If the yas was added in, you need to win. Okay, zombie Johnny Cochran may have to workshop that line a little bit more. Give him some slack. He has been, after all, dead for 20 years. Before we get to today's twist, we do see a truly wonderful drone shot taking us from David and Timmy all the way to Victor and Danny. And I just want to point that out because you know what? Shout out to the drone operator on that one. And it's also, narratively it makes sense because last week there was all that competition for Timmy, and now both men seem to have settled into the himbo that they are seemingly infinitely more compatible with.
He can't write a poem, and Timmy probably can't read one. They're a perfect match.
The narrator is meaner in this episode, which I do find fun, but I also feel bad for all the men who are being called brainless bottoms, or truly any number of insults related to a lack of literacy behind their backs. Oh, and to answer the question I posed when I covered the first episode, Danny looks like the person that I platonically slept with, and Timmy looks like the gay person I knew in real life. Should I text him? You could comment that down below. But if you want another fun comment game for this episode, try to pick the daddy that I think would beat all the other daddies in a fight, arena style, everyone's in the arena, last person standing wins. The answer may surprise you. But time for today's twist. A new himbo is entering Daddy Mansion. And I feel so gross for calling it that. I feel like with how I have to censor the word for YouTube, it almost sounds worse to be saying daddy this and daddy that. But whatever, YouTube, you have made your daddy bed, and now you have to lie in it. With daddy. Please, God, cut that. Oh, you're keeping it in. Awesome. But it's time to meet Steph, a 25-year-old circus performer with abs that you could use to wash your clothes on like a little Amish woman. Although I don't think that behavior would be particularly common in any Amish communities, given the lack of men with abs and the lack of people of color in general. Although who knows, even if you're not using pre-workout powder, if your entire job is building barns in a single day, that could get you pretty built, provided, the barn doesn't fall on you, crushing both you and said hypothetical abs. Steph gets to choose one of the daddies to go on a one-on-one date that is a butt massage that I mentioned earlier, and he chooses David, causing Timmy to immediately start spiraling.
What the f? This new himbo walked into the house and tried to steal my daddy.
And after Steph picked David, all the other daddies and himbos go ooh, and I literally audibly said ooh out loud. I'm in too deep. I'm in too deep with this show already.
And that's just what he'll be saying when he's inside one of—
Stop. David and Steph then have a personal conversation about getting to know each other while their butts are being manhandled, brushed, lathered, and massaged by two masseuses. I can't show the uncensored version for obvious reasons, but it is truly one of the most surreal things I've ever watched on an episode of reality television in my 2 decades of existence. Especially because the camera person is often lingering a little too long in the cheeks department. And I think that's a good segue to remind you of today's theme, promiscuity. This show fascinates me for many reasons, mostly in its absurdity, but by existing, it is somewhat of a commentary on modern gay existence. And with today's episode, 4 couples more or less solidified, and 3 makeout sessions in the first few minutes is certainly an escalation, not just from episode 1, but also in contrast to most similar dating shows. And that's not a value statement, that's a statement of fact. The gay community is often portrayed as hypersexual, and to a degree, that is true. And a reality television show capturing reality would do well to focus on that if that is what comes up organically in their cast. This hypersexuality, though, does not exist in a vacuum, because we have to keep in mind the game that we're playing. There is a $10,000 grand prize available at the end of it to be voted best couple. And with the elimination structure of the game, which we're going to find out in a little bit, there is a huge incentive to couple up quickly and to take steps to ensure that your coupling is successful. Are you tongue dancing because you think he's cute, because you want to be safe from elimination, or because you want $10,000? It's hard to say, and all of this contributes to the larger picture of the gay community that is being put into existence by For the Love of Daddies. But it's time for today's immunity to determine if the himbos or the daddies will get to be the ones picking their dates to tonight's event. And it's here we finally see Justin again, who has been conspicuously absent from the entire first half of the episode. We haven't seen him at all, and I'm starting to be concerned for his longevity in the competition, because he has not had a single coupling, a single romance, successful or otherwise, with any of the daddies. And according to the show, that is what he's there for. And this is my theory. I think he could be experiencing reverse top discrimination.
I am politically, ideologically, and morally opposed to bottoming. That's right.
Much to consider. The challenge is a combination of some very basic ball-based athletic tasks. I will save you putting in a clip of their ball jokes. Trust me, there were like 10. Combine that with solving an incredibly simple math equation. Here we could delve into the gays can't do math theory, which I would criticize, but in this case it seems to be true.
Are you good at math?
No. Of course I'm not good at math. I'm here.
I failed algebra 3 times. I'm not good at math.
And I wouldn't say I agree with the stereotype, because I was pretty good at math until like the 9th grade. But coincidentally, that was also when I came out. So, oh gosh. I did recently download an app so I could start practicing math again, though. So I'm working tirelessly to beat the stereotype.
I can't change, even if I try.
Something I do find incredibly interesting, though, about this challenge is that Fox throws it, forcing the himbos to win. And he does this on purpose.
I didn't want us to be able to choose the dates because if I didn't get to choose first, I knew that Nicholas was going to choose Jay. But I knew if the himbos choose first, I was pretty confident that Jay is going to choose me.
Step aside, Derek, Dr. Will Kirby, Dan Giesling, because there is a new sheriff in town. His name is Fox, and he has just snatched all of your reality TV grounds. I'm so in love with how self-serving this strategy is, and that frankly there's any strategy at all in For the Love of Daddies. Oh, important thing. We also get to learn everybody's actual ages if they didn't provide it in the first episode, because their ages are on the back of their jerseys. So we can revisit the age discourse in another few episodes, because I'm sure it's going to come up again from the first episode. It is still relevant. But more important than that, we finally know Victor's age. And I believe in the video I said he could be anywhere from 39 to 53, and we found out he is 43 or 44 depending on when this was filmed. So all you people saying I was crazy because I said he could have been 39, maybe it's time for some introspection. If you thought he was over 50, maybe it's time for some introspection. The himbos, thanks to Fox throwing the challenge, get to pick their dates in an order that is generated by pulling names out of Stormy Daniels' ample bosom. Fox is proven right because Jay picks him, and then Danny picks Victor. But then Timmy gets to go, and obviously he picks David, causing a bit of musical chairs because that was Steph's pick, so Steph has to pick Robert, which was Samuel's pick, so Samuel has to pick Nicholas, leaving us with poor old Justin. Justin is without a partner and without anyone to go with to tonight's event, and unlike Survivor Gabon, there is no Sugar Shack for Sugar to go to because she was not picked by either tribe. No, instead Justin just has to go alone to the event where he will receive a punishment. And he's in a lot of danger of going home because apparently at the end of the episode, they are going to eliminate one of the himbos in a basically like a rose ceremony, but each daddy only gets one rose.
You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
And with no partner in the show based around pairing up, I'm very concerned for you, Justin. But I guess if you do get eliminated, you can just go back and finish that undergrad degree. But everyone heads back to Death Mansion, and the daddies are talking amongst themselves, and I would be remiss if I didn't bring up, as a discussion point, the conversation between David and Robert. It's time for a My Friends Call Me Pat reality TV learning moment. Also, fuck it, because I haven't used one this entire episode, let's throw a Freud alert in there for good measure. One of the things that a lot of reality television productions will do is create artificial drama. Obviously, but in a more direct sense, it's basically putting all of the cast in a room and saying you are not leaving this room until you argue, bicker, and fight with each other. A great example of this is the show Ink Master, where a lot of what is happening in the episodes is somewhat created by the producers. Every single episode of Ink Master you watch will have some form of very heated either fight or disagreement where one artist says, your work frickin' sucks, that tattoo looks like it's got two heads, stuff of that nature. But when the cameras stop rolling, for the most part, the artists respect each other and are friends. But for the cameras, they have to play up the conflict, play up the fact that they supposedly hate each other.
You are absolutely insane. Your drawings blow. That's it. I don't really care what anybody has to say.
I think that's probably what is happening in these scenes. Basically, the producers putting the himbos and the daddies in different rooms and saying, we need content, start fighting with each other, start talking about how, oh, that's my himbo, that's my daddy, whatever.
Enjoy my sloppy seconds.
Oh, okay. You getting jealous, Daddy?
All right, enough.
But Robert's enough in that moment after essentially David had been teasing him really to me feels like a genuine moment amidst a bit of artifice created by reality television. Of course, though, after Robert snaps, this is followed by a narrator quip.
Robert's learning that gay men show love by saying the nastiest shit humanly possible to each other.
And let me just say, Dr. Daddy, I don't think that's true. Or if it is, it really shouldn't be. The most productive friendships I've had with gay men in my life have been ones where we both respect each other, love for each other, care for each other. Okay, I'm realizing it sounds like I'm describing a situationship, but I promise I'm not. But the most productive relationships and friendships have not been ones where we're both kind of teasing each other because we're both 45 and we're both coveting a 21-year-old. Admittedly, I've never been in that situation, and I don't plan on it, ever. But to each their home own. Okay, that pun was a little better, the boos are a little much. But now it's time for the big set piece in the episode, the carnival. And I would just like to shout out to whoever is doing the set design in the show, because it is clear that almost all of the budget went to the cameras and the mansion, and they had maybe $50 left over to build a carnival. It's very The Office Party Planning Committee coded, but shout out to the Office Party Planning Committee. Their carnival was significantly more upscale. There's also another product shot of the beverage, a Stormy Brew, which, like, they did the same thing last episode because it's kind of confusing. Like, are they trying to market something? Like, I've found no evidence on the internet that this is a real thing that actually exists, but here's another shot of it. I mean, do they really just love the pun? I can't really blame them given the joke I made maybe 15 seconds ago, but still. Which product did they use to replace and put the Stormy labels on? Did they take Yinglings, a very conservative coated beer, and replace it with the Stormy Brew? Who's to say, really? But Steph and Robert seem to be hitting it off, with Robert putting it rather simply.
Steph is out as fuck.
And Steph putting it a little bit more eloquently, but with a similar level of cognition.
He's super cute, and I think that he thinks I'm super cute too, and we both like to work out, so...
And look, I know there are millions of gays out there, many of them gym gays, but I really feel like a relationship has to have a stronger foundation than just, I think he's cute, and we both like going to the gym together. You know, at least if you want to earn that $10,000 grand prize at the end of the season, presented by Scruff. And speaking of a couple that I think has a much more serious chance of winning that $10,000, we get to see Victor and Danny. And Danny has asked Victor the fact that they work in nightlife, is that going to be a problem for Victor? Is he going to be jealous? And the fact that they're having an important conversation about their potential relationship while Victor looks like that is so funny to me. And in any normal episode of reality television, the fact that that exists would maybe be the funniest element, or at least the most out there conversation in the entire episode. But I have to remind you that just 20 minutes ago, there was a get to know you conversation mid-butt massage. So... the one thing that really gets me, though, about this conversation is that Victor says as long as we have a conversation about the nature of our relationship, be it monogamy or an open relationship, I'm cool as long as we talk about it. But he never expresses a preference to either monogamy or having an open relationship. And it's a little bit like if my boyfriend says, like, what do you want for dinner? And I say, I'm good with pizza or sushi, as long as we have a conversation about it, which, like, I really dislike sushi, and I'm not going to magically like sushi more if we have a conversation about it. I very much have a preference. And we're talking about pizza here. We're not even talking about penises. Multiply this by a factor of about 100 for penises. That's gay math right there. Timmy, for his part, takes advantage of his one-on-one date with David and discusses the ass massage date that David went on. And Timmy is very clearly uncomfortable when the subject comes up, but he knows he had to ask it, but he clearly doesn't want to hear anything about it. That man is battling demons beneath those eyes and underneath that laugh.
Go on a date.
Makes two of us. The table.
But I feel bad for him because he asks David point blank, are you going to pick me in the elimination ceremony? Again, how eliminations work apparently is that every daddy gets to pick one himbo, and the himbo who is not picked gets eliminated. So Timmy is well within his rights, and frankly, he should be asking David this question, but take a look at David's response.
I'm really not too sure at this moment. I'm really glad and thankful that you picked me to have a one-on-one for tonight, that I got to have a conversation.
My brother in Christ, if you're not keeping him, this is the daddy mansion. You can bounce checks.
This is the Big Brother house. You can bounce checks.
But how would Timmy feel in this situation? You have not said anything to make him feel more comfortable. This is just bad strategy, David, and frankly, bad behavior from a prospective lover, but that's more of a subjective criticism. But it's time for Stormy Daniels to enter, much to Jay's absolute bewilderment. Seriously, the expression he makes there is so funny. But Stormy is there to punish Justin for not being picked from her bra draw. I can't tell if I'm impressed or saddened by the DIY dunk tank. Let me know in the comments below. But it's time for the elimination ceremony. We're about to see a big move made, but oh wait, Justin is quitting the show because he has not made any connections. He's entirely correct. It very much seems like a case of you can't fire me, I quit, because at least from the narrative that was presented to us in the show, he was probably going to go home. And I'm not gonna begrudge him at all for this, like, oh man, you should just get eliminated like a man, like, you know, like, just like in Survivor, if you quit before you're voted off. No, this is, for the love of daddies. It's really not that deep, and at the end of the day, maybe not all of us are meant to find our daddy. And there we have it, episode 2 in the books. In the next episode preview, we see an ambulance coming to Daddy Mansion because there is a lot of blood everywhere. And we fully see in the episode preview with maybe about a 95% confidence interval which daddy is on the hospital bed, but I'm not going to show it to you in case I have to cover episode 3, which I will do if this video gets, I don't know, 5,000 likes. I think I'll save my larger thoughts on promiscuity and sexuality for when somebody has sex in the show, which at this rate is going to literally be in the next episode. But I did notice the jump of intensity from episode 1 to episode 2. I think For the Love of Daddies has a very weird position of both trafficking and a lot of gay stereotypes, being weirdly above them in some weird way, and just being a lot. I promise you I will develop some more cogent conclusions about this show and its place in reality television and LGBTQ+ history if you, the viewer, compel me to keep watching it. For the record, I'm not entirely opposed to that, and I'm very much Team Victor Danny all the way. But that's going to do it for me, guys. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you've enjoyed it, please leave a like. Please comment down below. It helps get this video out to more people, and I super duper appreciate it. Let me know your comments down below. Remember, I do read every comment. What do you think? Do you have any favorites? Is this show still too much? What do you think about the vast jump in horniness we've experienced from episode 1 to episode 2? Let me know down below. And as always, my name is Patrick, but my friends call me Pat, and I'll see you for the next one.